Screen. There we go. Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? It's Adam from the Press Continue podcast, and tonight I am going to be, of course, it's Tuesday night. It's been a while. So on Tuesday nights, what do? I do Magic the Gathering. So I'm going to be doing one of my commander decks. As you can tell, today's commander is over here. Gahiji, Honored One, which he says whenever a creature attacks one of your opponents or a planeswalker an opponent controls, that creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and he's a 4/4. There he is. Wonderful. Okay. So first off, we got to explain that, right? Because even if my opponents are attacking each other, those creatures get +2/+0. It's just, wait, let me read it again. Make sure I'm saying the right thing. Whenever a creature attacks one of your opponents, yes. So if my creatures attack somebody else, they get +2/+0. If my opponents are attacking each other, they get +2/+0. If they attack me, they do not get the bonuses. So it encourages everyone else to fight. Hopefully it encourages everyone else to fight each other instead of me. But usually I have to use it to boost my own creatures, and well, you'll see kind of the weird shenanigans I do with this deck. So let's get into it, shall we? All right. So I hope everything's working okay. It's been a while since I've tested everything, and you know, there's been a bunch of Mac updates in the last couple days, so I'm hoping that all the updates decide to work right for me, and that things just freaking work. So let me make sure that we got things rolling here. Yes, okay, neat. Alright, so let's get into the deck, right? Got my chat thing open, and we're good to go. So we got, like I said, we got Gahiji. If the camera decides to catch up, there we go. So, boom, we'll put him off to the side, and then we'll get into what's in this deck. So as usual, we always start with lands. This deck, by the way, I can seriously use some help tweaking it, because I've been working with this deck for probably 6 months to a year. I play it off and on because it's not very consistent, and it doesn't seem to work as well as I'd like it to. I keep adding random cards to it here and there, but then I never go back and play the stupid thing. So I've already just splitting it up for the show today. I've noticed a couple of changes that I want to make, but I'd like to hear what you guys think as well. So please talk in the chat about it, comment on the video, whatever. Help me out, okay? So we got forests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 forests. Put those to the side. 7 forests. 7 basics. Then we got some plains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plains. If you notice, I got a lot of the portal lands in there, because something about the way the portal cards look now. I never bought portal cards at the beginning, because you know, we didn't allow them in our play group because that was a beginner set. That wasn't something that was tournament legal. But I really like the look of portal cards, how they just look so I guess boxy, and they just look old. So and they had great art on them. I really like the portal lands. So what do we say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plains, and then we got mountains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mountains. I think this is one of my favorite mountains right here. Again, out of Portal. I pick these up every time there's a pre-release. I end up picking a bunch of portal lands because they just have a big box of lands, and I like the art, I like the look of them, so I'll like sift through them real quick, see if I can find some portal lands. You need land, Brittany? I definitely have a whole box of land if you need land. So unless you're talking real estate, then I can't help you with real estate. So now we get into the non-basic lands, right? So of course, command tower. The deal with this deck is I always have problems with having the right colors. So, and I normally don't have issues with my land base. So I'm having all kinds of problems with this deck, and I don't quite understand how to fix it. So we'll see. But command tower, of course, tap and add any color mana. That's the color of your commander's identity. Scattered groves. So it comes on the battlefield tapped. It has cycling 2, and it gives you green or white. Bountiful Promenade enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. This is the only one of these lands I've ever gotten out of, what is that, Battle Bond. And it taps for green or white. Vivid Meadows enters the battlefield tapped with 2 charge counters on it. You can tap it to add 1 white, or you can tap it, remove a charge counter, and add 1 mana of any color you want. So there's color fixing there. New Benalia comes into play tapped, but when you play it, you get to scry 1. Everyone knows, if you've watched any of my videos, you know how much I like to scry. So scry 1, of course, is look at the top card of your deck. If you want to, you can put it back on top of your deck, or you can put it on the bottom of your deck. So now they have that new mechanic for Guilds of Ravnica that's coming out, and I call it like the new scry, that surveil mechanic, where surveil will let you look at the top card of your deck and decide to either put it back or to throw it in your graveyard. So that's going to be an interesting mechanic. I do plan on doing the pre-release, so of course after that we'll have a bunch of fun pre-release stories to tell. So stay tuned to our channel for that stuff coming up. That would be, what, first week of October then, because the pre-release is the end of September. And so if you want to get alerts on that, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, so you can get alerted when I go over that stuff. Windbrisk Heights. It's got Hideaway. So Hideaway says, so this land comes into play tapped, but when it comes into play, I look at the top 4 cards in my library, exile 1 of them face down, and then put the rest on the bottom of my library. Okay? So the deal with that exiled card is, for one, you could tap this for 1 white, but also 1 white, tap this, and you could play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if you attacked with 3 or more creatures this turn. Well, I'm definitely attacking with creatures in this deck, so to get those bonuses off Gahiji. So yeah, that's a pretty cool card. Temple of Triumph enters the battlefield tapped. Again, when it enters the battlefield, you scry 1, and it adds a white and a red to your mana pool, white or red. Clifftop Retreat enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain or a plains, and it gives you a red or white mana. Windscarred's Crag enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you gain a life, and it gives you red or white. Boros Guildgate. Gates apparently are going to be a big deal again. Again with return, what, Guilds of Ravnica, whatever the hell the new set is again. Enters battlefield tapped, you get red or white. Temple of Abandon enters battlefield tapped, and then you get to scry 1. You get red or green. Gruul Guildgate, there's another gate. Enters battlefield tapped, red or green mana. Pendlehaven. Legendary land adds 1 green when you tap it, or you can tap it and target 1/1 creature, gets +1/+2 until end of turn. This deck is a token deck, so that's a neat little power up. But also, I mean, it's a forest with no drawback. Plus, you'll see I have some ways to like fetch legendary cards, so I can fetch for green mana if I need to. Care Keep, tap to add 1 colorless, a red and a colorless, tap, put a 0/1 red kobold creature token named Kobolds of Care Keep into the battlefield. Gotta love kobolds. They're so terrible. But again, it's good to be able to make a creature if I need a blocker. And that's usually what that's done. And Ash Barrens. Tap to add 1 colorless, and then for 1 has basic land cycling, which means you pay 1, you discard this from your hand, and then go get a land from your deck and put it in your hand. So Ash Barrens, I am surprised how expensive this card has gotten. Apparently, I mean, it's definitely a great card, especially in a multicolor deck. The price that it fetches, though, is kind of ridiculous for a common land. So, all right, so that's the land base. I know that there's definitely like taking out the gates and stuff like that and putting in different multicolor creating lands would be a better idea. But those are usually in other decks, and again, this isn't one of my main decks, so I don't have multiple copies of the good stuff. So I put what I can in the other decks to make the best of what I have. So we're going to shuffle that up a little bit so we're ready for later towards the end of the video when we do some play runs of the deck. Alright, getting some shuffling done. Blotted bloop, bloopity bloop. So this, like I said, is a token generating deck, and then I've done some other weird shenanigans with it, which you'll see in a minute, because we're going to go through the non-creature spells. Which I realized already that a lot of these non-creature spells need to be creatures with ETB effects. So, already editing the deck as I was sorting it for tonight. But I'm starting with a strange card that I have not even had hit the battlefield yet. But I think it's going to be very interesting once it does. It's an Erratic Portal. Those cards I've had forever but never used. What Erratic Portal does is you pay 1, tap it, return target creature to its owner's hand unless its controller pays 1. Well, it's mainly in there so I can target my own creatures. If I have to target somebody else's to mess up their game if they're tapped out, I can. I can block with one of my creatures and bounce it back to my hand so I can cast it again. I've seen some of the versatility of this in my mind. Not in an actual game, but in my mind. So, it's kind of an interesting card that I threw in there. Don't know how I feel about it yet, but it's there, so we'll see how that works out. Conjurer's Closet. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. Again, you see why I want ETB stuff in here, right? So you'll see that I have a lot of stuff that flashes things in and out of play as we go. And why they flash it in and out of play, you'll see. This instantly is a card that I need to replace with a creature. So, Dawn to Dusk. Choose one or both. Return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand and or destroy target enchantment. So I originally put it in there because I can do 2 things for 4 mana, but I feel like I don't know. This deck is so weird. I don't even know what to put in and take out. So I wish it was a creature that had this exact same ability, but there's creatures that have destroy an enchantment when they come into play, and there's creatures that have bring an enchantment back from my graveyard to play. So I don't, or to my hand. So there's no one creature that I've seen that does both these things, or gives me both those options. So that's why I'm kind of torn with that. Legion's Landing. When Legion's Landing enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. When you attack with 3 or more creatures, transform Legion Landing. Well, what does it transform into? It transforms into a land that makes 1 white, or pay 2 and a white, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. Again, just like with Core Keep, I need to have ways to have creatures that keep coming into play. So, you'll see why in a bit, but that has helped me with mana ramp early in the game, as well as making those, again, chump blockers. Oketra's Monument. Jeez, some of these words are like impossible. Well, white creature spells cost 1 less to play. When you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance. So again, making tokens, making my spells a little bit cheaper, all good things with that. This is one of the best monuments, I think. Definitely one of the best monuments. And again, it's legendary, so is this. This was legendary as well. I do have a lot of legendary cards in this deck. Field of Souls. I've always liked Field of Souls. It's an enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature is put into my graveyard from play, put an essence token into play. That is a 1/1 white creature with flying. So go ahead and board wipe, whatever. I'll still come out with a bunch of creatures. Anointed Procession. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. So again, right there, Field of Souls. With Anointed Procession, if you kill one of my creatures, I get 2 1/1 flyers. Legion's Landing comes into play. I get 2 1/1 vampires. Oketra's Monument, I get 2 1/1 vigilance tokens. So you already see what's starting to happen here, right? We'll put that kind of to the side. Panharmonicon. If an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. This thing is ridiculous in this deck. So anybody plays Panharmonicon though, it instantly gets targeted. But Panharmonicon with, sorry for the proxy, but I only have one of these, with a Perforos. Perforos saying basically it's a indestructible enchantment creature. I think it's a 5/5. But the big reason that this is in there, again, it is legendary. The big reason it's in there is every time a creature comes into play on my side, all my opponents take 2 damage. Well, again, with Panharmonicon, for each creature, they take 4 damage. I'm making double tokens. So if 1 token comes in, I'm making 2 tokens. So that's 8 damage for 1 creature coming into play, if that's on the board. And again, being legendary is important, because I have legendary search cards in the deck. Impact Tremors. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under my control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage to each opponent. So again, it's like Baby Perforos. Teferi's Protection. Freaking love this card. For 1, okay. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you have protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. While they're phased out, they're treated as though they don't exist. They phase in before you untap during your untap stop. And then you exile Teferi's Protection. So, basically you get removed from game. This is just a fun protection card from there. It brought phasing back into the world, and because of this card they had to errata phasing, which says that tokens can phase out and then phase back in. Before, in the old days with phasing, if a token phased out, it basically was exiled. It would be removed from game. Well, when Teferi's Protection came around, they wanted you to be able to keep tokens. Again, this is a token-heavy deck. So being able to remove everything from the game and bring it all right back, huge for me. What's fun with this too is, I'm not getting into it yet, but I will tap all my land. So say like I have 7-8 mana in my mana pool, Teferi's Protection, and so phase all my stuff out, remove me from the game, and then I'll Wrath of God. So I'll do crazy shenanigans like that, usually when I have Teferi's Protection. Or if somebody goes to combo off, I'll play Teferi's Protection and at least get another turn. So it's one of those great answer to things going on. Call the Gatewatch. This is something new I just added in there. Search my library for a Planeswalker card, reveal it, and put it into my hand. Then shuffle my library. Enlightened Tutor. You can tell I'm in the search cards, right? Search your library for an artifact or enchantment card, reveal it, reveal the card, shuffle your library, and put that card on top of it. This is mainly to go get Purphoros. If Purphoros is already on the field or something else, I'll go get like Panharmonicon. That would usually be my second choice. Conjurer's Closet. I'll go get cards like that. Here we go. All right. So this deck. So I'm finding ways to make all these tokens, right? I'm having things that are indestructible like Purphoros. Wait till you see the creature base on this. I have if creatures are dying, if my creatures are dying, again because of Field of Souls, I'm getting creatures 1/1 flyers for each creature that dies, right? I have enchantments that are making creatures. I have that's end step, so that doesn't help me. I can bounce creature back to my hand, right? Stuff like that. So, with that being said so far, there are 11 board wipes in this deck. Okay? 11 Wrath effects. So, starting with Martial Coup. So Martial Coup says, put X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens onto the battlefield. If X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures. So for 7 mana, I can do a board wipe and still have 5 1/1s, triggering Purphoros or Impact Tremors 5 times, or more, depending on how much mana I have. So that was all kinds of good ideas with that. You already saw that there's Wrath of God in there. My good revised Wrath of God, going totally old school with that. All creatures in play are buried. Day of Judgment, destroy all creatures. Pretty straightforward. Can't go wrong with 3 words. Dusk and Dawn. So, Dusk and Dawn, Dusk says destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater. Okay, most of my things, again, you see are making 1/1 creatures. So I'll kill most of the rest of the board. And then this card has it has Aftermath, which means you can cast Dawn if this is in your graveyard. And that says return all creature cards with power 2 or less from my graveyard to my hand. So it's a good graveyard recursion. I have a lot of well, cheapy creatures. So that will get a lot of stuff back, but it's mainly again for the Wrath effect, and then it just has that other effect because why not be able to play stuff again from your graveyard? Fell the Mighty. Destroy all creatures with power greater than target creature's power. Well, I will target one of my 1/1s, and everything else on the board that's not of 1 power will die. So I will end up with a bigger board than you. This I just added, Mogg Infestation. Okay, so again, I'm usually going to target myself with this, especially if I have Purphoros on the board, because it destroys all creatures target player controls. For each creature put into any graveyard in this way, put 2 goblin tokens into play under that player's control. Treat these as 1/1 red creatures. So if I have like 3 or 4 creatures out, right, with a Purphoros, again, I'm finding many ways to get to Purphoros, okay? You'll see that there's even more ways to search for it. So I got, say, 3 creatures. Target myself with this. 6 creatures come into play. I do 12 damage to all my opponents. Then, if again Field of Souls is out there, well, 3 creatures died, so I get 3 more. So there's another 9 damage to all my opponents. If I have any of these other ETB or Anointed Procession out there, again, it's doubling things again. So there's a lot of value of Mogg Infestation in this deck. Or if somebody's just annoying the heck out of me, I can hit them and turn all their big baddies into 1/1 creatures, because what are you going to do with a bunch of 1/1s? Except attack someone else, because you have Gahiji's power up, so now all those 1/1s are 3/1s if you don't attack me. Rout. You may cast Rout as though it had Flash if you pay 2 more to cast it. Flash, of course, meaning you can cast it as an instant. Destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. When's the last time they made a creature with regeneration? I have not seen anything with regeneration in a long time. That's something they need to bring back, because regeneration was crazy strong for combat. Fumigate. Destroy all creatures. I gain 1 life for each creature destroyed that way. Need a little bit of life gain, right? I'm okay with that. Kirtar's Wrath. Destroy all creatures. They cannot be regenerated. But Threshold. If 7 or more cards are in my graveyard, instead destroy all creatures, then put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. Creatures destroyed this way can't be regenerated. So, kill everything. If I have Threshold, kill everything, but then I end up with 2 creatures. You'll see that, again, I have a lot of Wrath effects in the deck, because when we get to the creature base, a lot of my creatures have where if they die, I get something for it. So you'll see what's coming up. Phyrexian Rebirth. Destroy all creatures, then create an XX colorless horror artifact creature token, where X is the number of creatures destroyed this way. So in a 4-player game, you know I'm going to end up with something pretty decent while everybody else loses everything that they have. Right? Right. That's the whole point of this deck. Keep the board clear, except for my side. And a Blasphemous Act. Like the best, one of my favorite board wipes, because you always cast this for 1 red. Blasphemous Act costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. It deals 13 damage to each creature. So again, there's usually, in a 4-player game, it's so easy to get 8 creatures on the board. Pay 1 red, kill everything, then I got all my mana open to play a bunch of stuff with the rest of my turn to recover from that board wipe. So that would be the spell base, and you kind of get an idea of what I'm doing here. At least I hope you do. So on top of that, we got a couple of Planeswalkers, because you know we had that call for Gatewatch, so we got to have some Planeswalkers to search for. We got Elspeth's Sun's Champion, which gives you a +1, put 3 1/1 soldier creatures on the battlefield. -3, destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. So again, another board wipe. And -7, I get an emblem that says creatures I control get +2/+2 and have flying. So again, in a token deck, making tokens, then they're all bigger and all flying. That's pretty much going to end the game. So Elspeth, very good. And there's this little symbol right here. I don't know what set it's for. I hope that's coming out good enough. But I think it looks like a teddy bear. It's like a little teddy bear. Let me back it up, see if you can get a better view of that. I know it's like some promo or some like promo deck or something, but yeah, that symbol always looks like a teddy bear, so I kind of like it. It's kind of cute. And then this guy, Huatli Warrior Poet. +2, I gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures I control. So, life gain. For 0, I create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample. So who doesn't want a 3/3 trample for every turn? And then -X, Huati deals X damage divided as I choose among any number of target creatures. Creatures dealt damage this way can't block this turn. So, again, even if I just do it for 3, I'm going to make 3 creatures not able to block, so pretty much my army is going to get to be unblockable. And again, I'm going to get the power up from Gahiji, and I'm just going to blow past your whole army and wreck your day. So both the Planeswalkers are very strong in this deck. Again, with all the board wipes too, it's a good way to come right back and have more creatures. Again, Elspeth, every time you do the +1, you get 3 1/1s. Well, again, with Perforos, that's 6 damage right there. So, to all my opponents. So that's the kind of stuff we got going there. Pretty cool, right? So I made the deck as a way to recover from Wraths, because I got so sick of everyone that I was playing against. I would just get my board started, and then they'd do a Wrath effect. And then we all start over, and then we get going again, and then somebody'd Wrath again. And I got so sick of just trying to recover constantly, so I just made a deck that's built around wrathing myself, but me always coming out better. So that was the premise of this deck. And you'll see how I'm always going to come out better in a second, because I'm pulling out the creature spells. Alright, let's check to see anybody tuned in today. If anybody's tuned in out there, please say hi in the comments, in the chat. Again, I'm doing this to get help with this deck, because I need your help. I need your suggestions to try to make this deck better. So talk to me if you're here. Like I said, just throw a hi in the comments. If you like what you're watching, hit that follow button, hit that little heart, subscribe, whatever. Show me some love, right? Alright, so here we go with the creatures. Kytheon, Hero of Akros. At the end of combat, if this creature, I'm not going to say that name again, if this creature and at least 2 other creatures attack this combat, exile this card and return on the battlefield transformed under his owner's control. And you can pay 2 and a white, and it gains indestructible until end of turn. Well, let's see what it flips into. It flips into another Planeswalker. We get a Gideon, Battle Forged, which says +2, up to 1 target creature an opponent controls attacks Gideon Battle Forged during its controller's next turn if able. A +1 until my next turn, target creature gains indestructible, untap that creature. And then for 0 until end of turn, Gideon becomes a 4/4 human soldier creature with indestructible that's still a Planeswalker. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. So, till end of turn. Okay, so again, it's one of those where after a board wipe, I have a 4/4 creature that I can attack with, and nobody else has anything. So it's kind of a weird get around Wrath of God shenanigans right there, right? Okay. Reclamation Sage, Rec Sage. When Rec Sage enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. I feel like I need more stuff like this. And again, okay, so here we're getting into the stuff that goes with Panharmonicon, so we'll put that out there. We're getting with stuff that's Urtai's Portal, if I need to do it again. Conjurer's Closet to blink it and have that effect happen again. What were some of the other things that combo with these every time? We'll put Anointed Procession up there just because that comes into effect a lot. So these 4 things are going to affect a lot of cards that are coming out here. So I'm going to kind of put those underneath it, okay? So Rex Sage, like we said, destroy target artifact or enchantment when it comes into play. Militia Bugler, not Bugler, Bugler. It's a Vigilance 2/3. When Militia Bugler enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with power 2 or less from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So you notice a lot of the cards are power 2 or less that we're getting into. So these are the make it happen a couple times. This is the or make these effects keep going off. These are the token generators. So that's how we're gonna lay them out here, okay? Thalia's Lancers, 4/4 first strike. When it enters the battlefield, I can search my library for a legendary card, reveal it, and put it into my hand, then shuffle my library. So again, you see why we're getting into having quite a few legendary cards in there. Vigilance, 4/3. It's a how do you say these names? Jeru with eyes open? When Jeru with eyes open enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a Planeswalker card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. If a source would deal damage to a Planeswalker you control, prevent 1 of that damage. So again, that's a search for the Planeswalkers, because if those Planeswalkers hit the board, it's go time. Let's see how our things are looking. Alright, so now we get back into Bishop of Rebirth. Vigilance 3/4. A lot of Vigilance stuff. I didn't even realize it. When Bishop of Rebirth attacks, you may return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So there's some recursion, right? Emrakul's Evangel. I really wish this thing would go off when I want it to go off. It's a 3/2, but you tap, sacrifice it, and any number of other non-Eldrazi creatures. Put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token into the battlefield for each creature sacrificed this way. So this is my ideal play with this guy. Is that I have, like, say, 5 creatures on the board. And then and him. So 6. With Perforos, I tap, sack, I get 6 3/2 creatures, but then again there's 12 damage. And I can do this at the end of someone's turn. I can block a bunch of people, I can declare blocks, do this, and have a bunch of 3/2s still untapped, ready to go, because that is instant speed. So that's a good response to blocking to other people. Again, if Anointed Procession's out there, I get double tokens. So there's quite a few things you can do with that. That card actually, I need to look at that more, because I think that's a really good card. I need to play more with that. In fact, wow, I might put a copy of that in my my Slimefoot deck, because you got all them Saprolings, and that'll sack off all your Saprolings, but then you end up getting a bunch of 3/2s instead. That could be something really cool. Let's talk about Tuk Tuk the Explorer. Here's the okay, we're getting into some of the stuff. When it dies, things happen. So Legendary Goblin. It's a 1/1 haste, but when he dies, put a legendary 5/5 colorless Goblin Golem artifact creature token named Tuk Tuk the Returned into the battlefield. So when he dies, you get a 5/5. Okay, there you go. Mistmoon Griffin, 2/2 flyer. Been playing this since Weatherlight came out. If Mistmoon Griffin is put in any graveyard from play, remove Mistmoon Griffin from the game, then put the top creature card from your graveyard into play. Well, of course, if I have multiple creatures out, I am going to choose that graveyard order, put the one that I want on top of my graveyard before Mistmoon Griffin goes in there, and then I'm going to get back what I want, which is usually going to be a token generating creature. So you kill all my stuff, I'm at least going to have 2 left. Academy Rector, always a great card. When Academy Rector is put in the graveyard from play, you may remove Academy Rector from the game. If you do, search your library for an enchantment card and put that card into play. Then shuffle your library. If this thing is in play, you better hope that I don't kill it. You better hope that you don't kill it, because again, I'm getting a Perforos. Gamekeeper. When Gatekeeper is put in the graveyard from play, you may remove Gamekeeper from the game. If you do, reveal cards from your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into play, and put the other cards revealed that way in your graveyard. So, if he dies, he gets replaced with another creature. Again, I don't care about my wrathing stuff because I'm going to get something else better back, which again will usually be 2 creatures or something with an ETB effect. The one I'm missing is the one from Battle Bond, where when it dies you go get a Planeswalker and put it into play. But that card is way too damn expensive, so I will not have that. How about a Treasure Keeper? You guys know how much I love this card. Treasure Keeper, when Treasure Keeper dies, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card with converted mana cost 3 or less. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put all revealed cards not cast this way in the bottom of your library in a random order. So Treasure Keeper, again, it dies. I get something else to replace it. Good value. Bygone Bishop. I think I need to take this out. But the thing, this deck is lacking any kind of card draw. So that's why it's in there. But it's a flying 2/3. Whenever I cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, investigate. Of course, when you investigate, you get a clue token that says pay 2, sack that token, draw a card. It's literally the only card I have in here for making clues or doing any kind of card draw like that. So I think it needs to be taken out for something else that's got an ETB. Again, with the Conjurer's Closet, Panharmonicon, Arati's Portal, stuff like that going on. I think there's better. Oh, that goes on this side. Gearcrafter? Is that what I'm saying? Anyway, when this enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature into play. There you go. Making some Thopters, making tokens. Pia Nalar. Sounds like Pinot Noir. Whenever Pia Nalar enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Target artifact creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn if I pay 1 colorless and 1 red. And I pay 1 second artifact, target creature can't block this turn. So I can make things unblockable. That's, at least it has some other options for the same amount of mana besides just making a guy. Flying creatures, this deck has a lot of flying. But now you see we're getting into stuff that works with Anointed Procession. Conjurer's Closet, making it exile in a turn, come back, make another token. Panharmonicon, if it's out, it's making 2 tokens. So here we go with some of the crazy combo stuff, right? Pia and Kiran Nalar. Oh, God. There goes dinner. Legendary creature. Oh, this is a legend. I didn't know that. Pia Nalar is a legend. So here she is with her boyfriend. When Pia and Karen Nalar enters the battlefield, put 2 colorless Thopters into play. Pay 2 and a red, sacrifice an artifact, and do 2 damage to target creature or player. So there you go. Giving me things to do with those Thopters. Attended Knight. It's a first strike, 2/2. When Attended Knight enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. So make you some soldiers. Sand Steep Outcast. I already know I want to replace this with... There's a new goblin, red goblin for 1 colorless and 1 red, that when you play it, you get a goblin token. So for cheaper, I pretty much get the exact same effect. When Sand Steep Outcast enters the battlefield, choose 1, put a +1/+1 counter on Sand Steep Outcast, which I'm never going to do. Or put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield, which I am going to do. Sigarda. Heron's Grace. Again, I hated when my friend Carl, he made a commander deck around this, and I would always play Shattergang Brothers against this, which made you sacrifice things. Well, of course, oh, this is not the right one, so I don't even know what I'm talking about, but he had a Sigarda deck that made, the version of Sigarda that made it where you cannot sacrifice things. This apparently is the other Sigarda. So, he's flying 4/5. You and humans you control have hexproof, so don't target me with nothing because it won't work. Pay 2, exile a card from your graveyard, put a 1/1 white human soldier creature token into the battlefield. That's mainly why it's there. So I'm going to have a bunch of creatures in my graveyard. Why not have a way to turn them into creatures if I need to trigger things that I need to trigger. Regal Caracal. Here come the cats. Oh, and she's legendary. Another legend. How about that? Other cats you control get +1/+1 and haste. Sorry. They have +1/+1 and have lifelink. Even better. When Regal Caracal enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. So for 5 mana, you get a 3/3 cat, and you get 2 1/1 or 2 2/2 cats with lifelink. So that's like all kinds of good stuff for 5 mana. Granted, it's the only card that makes cats in this deck, but it's alright because it's not a cat deck. Tilanali's Summoner. So this, I cannot wait for it to hit the battlefield. I've wanted this card since I saw it. I finally got a copy of it. Finally found a copy of it because this card was very hard to find. Someone that was willing to sell or trade it. So first it has Ascend. So it says if you have 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. Okay, again, shouldn't be that hard when I have a bunch of tokens, right? But by itself, it'll get you to 10 permanents, because whenever this creature attacks, you can pay X and red. If you do, create X 1/1 red elemental creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. At the beginning of your next end step, exile those tokens unless you have the City's Blessing. Well, like I said, it's going to be real easy to get the City's Blessing if you have 5 land. 5, 6, 4, math, 6 land. If you have 6 land and just this out there, you're going to have the City's Blessing. And you're going to trigger Perforos however many X times. Of course, every time you attack with this, you can do it again. You can Panharmonic, no, not Panharmonic on it. Anointed Procession it. Another thing with Conjurer's Closet, whenever you attack with something, you'll attack, it's tapped, you exile it and bring it back into play, it's untapped. So you'll always have that, whatever you Conjurer's Closeted as a blocker as well. Gahiji is going to give all those tokens +2/+0 until end of turn, so you're essentially attacking with a bunch of 3/1s. Great. I'm so excited for this card. I cannot wait to be able to play it. Alright, let's see what we got next. Now we're going to start making some golems. Blade Splicer. When it enters the battlefield, put a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token into the battlefield. Golem creatures have first strike. I feel like this deck needs more first strikiness. First strikiness? First strikiness. Master Splicer. When Master Splicer enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token. Golems get +1/+1. Apparently golems is a cool, good thing. So we've got all the golem cards that work together. Vital Splicer. When Vital Splicer enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token. Pay 1, regenerate target golem I control. So, golems. I like them. I like, when I saw this, I'm like, I want to make a golem deck. but I've never looked far enough into it to find if there are enough quality golems to make a golem deck. Instead, I put a Filigree Familiar in front of your face. An Artifact Fox. When Filigree Familiar enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. When Filigree Familiar dies, draw a card. So there you go. Does stuff coming in, does stuff going out. Same with Thragtusk. When it enters the battlefield, I gain 5 life. When it leaves the battlefield, create a 3/3 green beast. Very, very good with Conjurer's Closet. So good with Conjurer's Closet. Because at end of turn, I will blip it out, get a 3/3, it comes right back, and then I get 5 life. What are you talking about, Brittany? You're precious. Oh, the golems. I'm stupid. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Okay. So Thragtusk, Conjurer's Closet combo. If Panharmonicon is there, it doubles it up. If Anointed Procession is there, you triple your triple your tokens. No. Yeah, triple your tokens. So again, all kinds of fun combos there. Flicker Wisp. Here we go. Here's some more blinkiness. It's a 3/1 flyer. When Flicker Wisp enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So here's something else with this flicker stuff, because I'm gonna fast forward a little bit to Avacyn. I cannot deal with Avacyn being in play. So if I have Flicker Wisp and someone else has Avacyn or some of this crazy indestructible bullshit, I could flicker it out of play, so their stuff is now destructible, and do what I gotta do to kill them, and then if they're still alive, they'll get it back. So yeah, that was a little fast forward, but we'll come back to Avacyn. Okay, so there's Flicker Wisp, right? Again, even if I'm flickering my own creatures here, I'm flickering them making more tokens. I'm flickering them doing like these crazy effects here that I was just talking about. A lot of flickety flicking. Felidar Guardians. Felidar Guardians enters the battlefield. You may exile another target permanent I control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So here's something interesting that has happened is I would have Perforos out and these, like 2 of these and another creature, right? So what would happen is I would play this, flicker this, and flicker the other creature. Return it to the battlefield. When it enters the battlefield, exile another permanent. So flicker, 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 flicker. I can just sit there and flicker all day long and make infinite tokens. Even if I want to flicker these 2 back and forth. That's beginning of next end step. This is instantly. Can it flicker itself? No, not. It says another. That'd be sick if it can flicker itself, because that would just be instant win. But I know 2 of these work together. There's one of these. Let's see. Because then we got Restoration Angel. Flash. So I could play it as an instant flying. When Restoration Angel enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-angel creature I control. Then return that card to the battlefield under my control. So that is where like these 2 can go back and forth, flickering each other all day, triggering Perforos a billion times and killing everybody until I decide to make it end. Revelark, flying 4/3. When Revelark leaves the battlefield, return up to 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And Evoke for 5 and a white, which means I can cast the spell for its evoke cost. If you do, sacrifice it when it enters the battlefield. Well, why the hell would I do that? Why would... Wait, let me look at this evoke thing and see what I'm saying here, because cast a spell for its evoke cost. If you do, it's sacrificed when it enters the battlefield. Well, why would I want it to go straight to the graveyard? Why wouldn't I want it in play? Why would I pay 1 more mana for that to go straight to the graveyard? I don't get it. I don't know. Unless you're doing some kind of weird, crappy shenanigans that I've seen some other people do with Goblin Bombardment type stuff and reanimating. Okay. How about Wisweaver Angel, flying 4/4. When Wisweaver Angel enters the battlefield, you may exile another target creature you control. Then return that card to the battlefield under your control. So again, another flicker, right? So there's all the flickers. Here we go with Indestructibles. Selfless Spirit, flying 2/1, sacrifice it. Creatures I control gain indestructible until end of turn. So again, with all the board wipes, I will just lose 1 creature, keep my board because it's all indestructible, and then Wrath of God. Same thing with Dauntless Escort. It's a 3/3, but you sack them, and creatures I control gain indestructible until end of turn. Tajik, Blade of Legions. It's indestructible, and it's legendary. With Battalion, though, whenever this and at least 2 other creatures attack, it gets a +5/+5 until end of turn. So this indestructible creature attacks with 2 others. It's now a 7/7. And then we already talked a little bit about Avacyn, who is legendary as well. Flying Vigilance, indestructible. Other permanents I control have indestructible. So again, wrathing all day, who cares, because all my stuff is indestructible. And you can't do anything about it except exile. If you exile Avacyn, then we got a whole different story. So that is the creature base, which you can see some of the combinations of things working together there. Oh geez, this is the worst thing. Whenever you go to shuffle your deck and like some cards are right side up, some are not. Don't do that, people. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to the people you're playing with. It's just wrong. Did I just... Yeah, I did. Okay. Oh, there's that. Yeah, okay. So okay, so I have to explain this deck protector here. So this, when I bought a bunch of cards off TCG Player, this is what one of the cards came in. And everybody always questions me about this card sleeve. So it's the only one I have, and I'm just like, sure, I might as well use it. And everybody always looks at me like, whoa, what? So, there you go. No hiding it anymore. There's the story behind that. If you can't handle a half-naked drawn lady, you probably shouldn't. You're probably 10 years old. So there you go. So doing a little bit of shuffling. We're gonna get ready to get the deck rolling here. See some practice runs and hope that it works. Again, this deck usually is not my friend. Whenever I've played it, it's just been an exercise in frustration because I will have the wrong color mana, or I will never. For some reason, I will get stuck at 4 mana, and everything in my hand will cost 5, and it will go turns and turns and turns, where I'm stuck at 5. When there's plenty of land in the deck, there's like 38 or 39 lands in this deck, but I will get stuck, and I don't understand why it happens. Okay. Yeah, but when the deck does work, it's... Or, Or I'll go through a whole game, and again, there's 11 Wrath effects in here, right? I will not grab one Wrath card. And with 11 of them in there in a 100 card deck, that's better than 1 out of every 10 cards. What's that? That's like, well, that's an 11% chance of drawing a Wrath card. And I will go an entire game and not draw a Wrath. And it's so frustrating. The deck never gives me what I want. Even when there's a bunch of searching cards in it, I will still not get the cards that I want. So the one time that it did work really well, it was we were playing a two-headed giant game, which I never do. So there's the one time we played two-headed giant, and I was playing this, which is made to be basically like play like a white weenie deck, and they were playing a white weenie deck, and I think we won on turn 3 or turn 4, because we just had so many creatures on the board already. And I got Gahiji out there, or well, that would have been turn 5. But I got, well, the second I got Gahiji on the board, we wrecked him, nearly killed him. It was just a slaughter because we had so many creatures and they could not deal with it. And yeah, that was a fun two-headed giant day. Now, the last time I was at the local game store, somebody mentioned that they wanted to play two-headed giant. We all just groaned at them and played regular Commander. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See the draw. That's it. Color screwed on the draw. I mean, this is a terrible hand. Nothing exciting until turn 4 or 5. So let's just play it. Draw. Put out the guild gate. Put out the mountain. Okay, so I can play that thing. I can't say it. Play the 3rd land, and I guess I can attack somebody for 2. Might as well use the effect, right? Okay, so we got, well, I can't really get the colors the way I want them. Okay, so we got all the colors already. Put on an Anointed Procession. Make me a target already. Turn 5. So at this point, what can I do? I could do a lot. I could attack 1, 2, 3, 4, make 8 1/1s because of Anointed Procession. I think at this point I might play Gahiji. I don't normally play him very often, but at this point I think I'd do it. So there's a land that comes into play tapped, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that can easily do that. So let's go 1, 2. So attack, make 1 extra token, and then 1, 2, 3, play Emrakul's Evangel. And this is where I can get, oh, I made 2 tokens. Sorry, I got 2 of those. So here we go. Now I can get real dumb, because attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I made 12 3/1 attacking creatures. And then after that, I can remove this and turn all those 1/1 creatures into 3/2 creatures. So I have 12 3/2 creatures. And there's another mana. And we can attack for all kinds of damage. And that should end that game. So that actually worked well. Worked well that time. Well-ish. Again, you can see I was not protected at all from anything. So, if anything, I did have the Blasphemous Act in my hand to board wipe if I needed it. So let's run it again and see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm starting with 2 land. Summoner again. Bishop of Rebirth. Elspeth. Okay, so this is not a good start again, but we'll see where it goes. Oh, there's a Perforos. So I'll play a Plains. Play a dual land. Play a mountain. So I'm up to 3. Call of the Gatewatch is literally going to do nothing because I have both Planeswalkers in my hand now. So that is a throwaway card. And that's something that I thought would happen eventually. Is that I would end up having Call of Gatewatch and both Planeswalkers in my hand. So I got to find more Planeswalkers that might work good in this deck. That make tokens like that. So I will have to look around for that because it only searches for a Planeswalker. And see, I'm stuck at 3 mana. I mean, hell, just Blasphemous Act, kill everything. There's 4. We can put out a Perforos. And stuck at 4 mana again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stuck at 4 mana. Okay, so at least we can do this. And do 4 damage to everyone because I made 2 creatures. 2 damage to everyone. See, it's doing it. It's doing exactly what I said. Everything costs 5 or more, and I'm stuck at 4 land. There's 3 turns in a row. Jeez. So 3-4 turns of doing nothing because I had not made it to 5 mana. I don't know how to fix that. Somebody help me because I don't know how to fix that. I mean, there is, of course, you can put mana rocks in the deck, but what do you take out? What do you take out to make space for that kind of stuff? Because eventually just mana rocks will turn into crap sitting there that I can't do anything else with. So the whole point is to get to turn 5, Wrath, and then start building. Like, do nothing for 5 turns. And then make it so I can start building. Because there's no point building early, because all I'm going to do is Wrath it all away, right? So I don't know how to fix this deck. I don't know how to make it work smoothly. What do I need to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've almost taken it apart. I don't know how many times. But I've never needed any of these cards in any other decks. So, draw. Command Tower. Draw. Plains. Doing nothing on turn 2. Doing pretty much nothing on turn 3. Because there's no point. Well, I could play that, I guess. Doing pretty much nothing on turn 4. I'll play an Urtai's Portal, why not? Turn 5. Now I can start doing interesting things, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could bounce this back to my hand. Day of Judgment. Six mana. 3 and a Call to Gatewatch. Call to Gatewatch. I'm always going to go get Elspeth. If I don't have it in my hand, I'm searching for it. Searching, 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 searching. Where's the foil cards? There she is. Okay, searched for that. Next turn. Boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is, even with 7 mana, at this point, I have not done anything overly exciting, right? I'll play an Elspeth and make 3 1/1s. I mean, I'm still not doing anything exciting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So with 8 mana, I could play Pia. Play a Restoration Angel. Make 2 more tokens. And then I got 2 rats in my hand. So if I needed to, sure. We'll make everything indestructible. 3, 4, 5. Destroy all creatures. And then attack with all this. Since I kept making tokens with that, right? Play Legion's Landing, make a token. Let's see. We could. Oh, that's kind of neat. All right, watch this. I could attack with all the tokens and stuff, right? Put this back in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play it again. Blip this. Pop it again. Get 2 more tokens. Make 3 more tokens. So that is... See, once you get enough mana rolling, then this does a lot of interesting things. So maybe I do need to put mana rocks in here for some reason. Because once you get a ton of mana, you get a lot of different options. There's an Ash Barrens, why the heck not? Oh, and this is flipped into a token generating land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play Gahiji. Attack. Again, we could put this back in my hand and make a token off of this. So just this little combination here has got a bunch of tokens going. So you see why I have Urtai's Portal in there, because it's a pretty interesting card. 4, play that, bouncy blippy. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can put it back again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Blippy. So yeah, Urtai's Portal, pretty good. I have to find a way to boost mana in this deck. So maybe I do have to find a way to put some mana rocks in here. But again, I don't know what to take out. Because I'm not taking out any of the Wrath effects. I don't want to take out any of the search effects. It would be non-creature spells that I would take out. So I'm not, well, we already said that was going out. We already changing that out for something. I already talked about that. So there's 3 cards right there to take out. I don't know. Again, I need you guys' help to figure out what to do with this deck, because I don't know what to do with this deck. Help me. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it there. Again, I thank you guys for showing up. Brittany showed up, so thanks, Brittany. And yeah, next time, I don't know what I'm gonna do next time on Tuesday for Magic. Let's see, what's the date gonna be? The date is going to be it's the weekend. Yeah, it's gonna be a week still before the pre-release. So I'm kind of running out of different Commander decks. So I'll figure out something. I was thinking about digging out one of my old decks from like 12 years ago and showing you what Magic was like 12 years ago. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. As long as life doesn't get in the way, I plan on playing some retro gaming, which would be finally finishing Super Mario World on Super Nintendo, because I'm right there by at Bowser. So tune in tomorrow. Oh, and tomorrow, because on Wednesdays, whenever we put out a new podcast, we put it out on Wednesday. Well, tomorrow's Wednesday, so we have a new podcast episode coming out on PressContinuePodcast.com. Again, you can subscribe to that on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play. We're on everything. So just search for Press Continue Podcast if you have a podcast app, or just go straight to PressContinuePodcast.com and listen to it there. But the topic is popular games we hate. Hate. So we hate on a bunch of stuff. I had a ton of fun editing the episode too. It was hilarious. I was laughing the whole time, even listening back to it. So listen to that tomorrow and tune in next time, where the gaming never ends as long as you press continue. See you tomorrow. Whoop whoop.